All right, and now I feel like I can really welcome you because I feel more here after those couple of deep breaths. So tonight we are going to talk about essential oils and recovery. And I made this a class specifically for women because I feel really drawn to share everything that helps me in my life with just women. For the last few years, I've been feeling that way. And for the last year, I've started seriously exploring why. And it's because for me, I can be more honest, more open, and more vulnerable in a room full of women. I just can. And my hope is that throughout class, if you have information to share with the group, if you have questions, that you'll put it into the chat, and I'll definitely, keep an eye on that. And if there's, something that comes up that we want to share and, connect about as a group, we'll do that together. I want you to be part of the conversation, okay? So 3 different ways that we can use our essential oils. We can smell them. We can touch them, we can taste them. So you may have heard that as we can use them aromatically, topically, and internally. So I want to begin with my favorite way, which is smelling them, right? So our very basic aromatherapy is to take the lid off a bottle, wave it under your nose like that, voila, you are using essential oils, right? Another awesome way to simply get into aromatherapy is your diffuser bracelet. So Daria, I have on the bracelet you gave me. Is it this one? I think it's this one, yeah, with all the little bling on it. So this bracelet here is a diffuser bracelet, and it has some lava beads, which are very porous little beads. Sometimes you'll see them made from wood, sometimes you'll see them from lava. I've even seen leather. And I simply take my oil of choice, I put a drop of the oil onto the bead, and then I just rub it in if I feel like it got onto my skin or I kind of missed, which I sometimes do. And that's a way to always have your oils with you on the go. So if you're going somewhere and it doesn't make sense to put the bottle into your purse or into your backpack, you can take your aromatherapy with you on the road by adding it to your diffuser jewelry. The third way is, let's see, can you guys see? To actually diffuse, right? So I have my petal diffuser going back there. I have an Elevation, which is the Joyful blend. I don't know about you guys, but it has been hard to find my joy lately, right? And yeah, Christine is asking, where do you buy the diffuser jewelry? So you can purchase it on Etsy. There are a ton of amazing, really talented jewelers on Etsy. I actually have diffuser bracelets too, so I can contact you and we can touch base about getting one of those in your hands. It's nice to try them on, right, and kind of figure out your size, because as you can see, the ones that I have on, they don't move much, right? Like I didn't want ones that would slide down my arm when I was practicing yoga and moving my arms around. So, but Etsy's a great place to shop for them too. So when you're diffusing, like I showed the diffuser behind me, we're typically adding about 6 drops of one oil or 6 drops of a blend of oils to the diffuser. And what I love about diffusing is it's a really quick way to shift your environment. It's a super fast way to just get the oils into the air and get the oils into the environment. So when I come into my space or when I come into another space and the energy of the space feels like heavy or dark or sad, I like to get some oils diffusing. It's kind of like when you go into an old house no one's been in and you just shove all the windows open and, pull the curtains back. That's what it feels like for me when I'm diffusing. So a big part of my morning ritual is oils and music, because sometimes I wake up and I'm like, do I want to do this day, or do I want to go back under the covers, right? Pull them over my head and just kind of say like, hey world, not today, right? So when I get the oils and the music going, it usually puts me in a better, more positive mood. So that's just a little bit about how we can smell them. If you have anything to add in, please add into the chat there. And I'm going to move on to how we can touch them. So we can touch our essential oils by applying them onto our skin. So we have Pamela on, who is like the expert body butter creator. Hell yeah, you girl, I'm talking to you. Yes. So you can make lotions, you can make oils, you can make salves, you can make all sorts of blends. Or if you're not really into doing DIY projects, like I know that's not everyone's thing, you can do something as simple as adding a drop of lavender or a drop of frankincense to your morning skincare routine. So I chose to speak about lavender and frankincense because they're really good for our skin. And it's really simple to just add one drop to your moisturizer or to your face oil, whatever you use in the morning. And then you're starting to touch them, right? You're starting to add them onto your skin. And I know I was sharing with another woman who came on the call earlier about, having a back injury. So then we turn to our Deep Blue, which is our soothing muscle rub. You can add some Deep Blue to coconut oil if you have the Deep Blue essential oil on hand. Or doTERRA makes a Deep Blue rub, which is the essential oil blend already diluted in a lotion. And you can rub that onto your back. And it's like an icy hot or a Tiger Balm or a BioFreeze if you've ever used any of that good stuff. And it will quickly heat the area and simultaneously cool the area and really penetrate your muscles and give you some relief, almost like not quite a numbing, but almost a numbing sensation from that Deep Blue rub, because it has wintergreen and peppermint, which are going to be really, really cooling. So we can add certain oils, and I feel it's very important, especially with this time of year, with our spring summer season, to mention that the citrus oils can cause skin sensitivity if you're going to be out in the sun. So if you love the smell of wild orange, I would hate for you to leave this call and just slather your, body lotion with wild orange and rub it all over and then go to the beach and lay in the sun for 12 hours. It will cause a burn. So it's really important to me that when you get essential oils into your hands, you have the most positive experience possible. So that means keeping the citrus oils off your skin that will be exposed to the sun. So right now, this time of year, I get my citrus in my diffuser. I get my citrus in my water, which we'll cover a little bit more next. And then if I really want some citrus oil in my life, I'll put a drop. Let's see, I have lemon, right? Did anyone use Sun-In? Just me? Okay. Oh, good. I see some hands. Thank you for not leaving me out there alone. So I used to love to put Sun-In my hair. It was a really ugly shade of orange at one point. I'm grateful to my hair for coming back in a normal color. But so lemon oil, you can put a drop into your hand, rub your hands together, breathe it in first because it's amazing. All of our citrus oils are uplifting to our mood and our emotions. But then you can rub that oil through your hair. So if you need to get a little bit of citrus in your life, but you are going to be out in the sun, then you can rub the citrus into your hair. Your hair might get a tiny bit lighter, but it's not going to turn Sun-In orange. And you can also, as I said, add the lemon to your water and add the citrus to your diffuser when you're at home. They also make car diffusers, so you can have them on the go. And just in case what I said feels kind of intense or nerve-wracking, I want you to keep in mind, if you have citrus oil on your skin and you go out to your mailbox and you get your mail and you're in the sun, you're going to be okay, I promise. It's more for if you're going out for a long hike, a long walk, trip to the beach, picnic for a couple hours, things that I feel like, especially this time of year, we're all engaging in, we're all doing more of, okay? So last but not least, we can use our oils by tasting them. Now, I want to be really specific that this is doTERRA brand only. I can only speak for this brand because they are the only brand that I've learned about in depth. So if you get a bottle of frankincense for $3.99 from CVS, I wouldn't suggest taking that one internally, but I have complete faith in the company, in doTERRA. They do third-party testing. All of our oils go through 30 plus tests before they come into our hands. So I trust that I can take the ones that are recommended to be taken internally. So how do we know? We know if they can be taken internally because they're going to have supplement facts on the bottle. If it's not recommended that we take the oil internally, it's just going to list, let's see if I have one. I think all the ones I have, yeah, we can take internally. But if you can't take them internally, it's just going to list ingredients. You won't see that supplement facts box. So that's a really quick way to know, can I take this internally or should I just put it in my diffuser? Okay. And when we taste them, we always want to use a glass or metal container. So if you're putting a drop of lemon in your water, if you're putting a drop of cinnamon in your tea, you always want to use a glass or metal container. If you add your oils to a plastic water bottle, it can actually pull some of the properties out of the plastic, and you're going to taste that in your water, and you're going to be, putting that in your body, which is certainly not why we're adding oils, right? We don't want to be ingesting plastic. That sounds terrible. So you can also add them to different food recipes. I love to use oregano in vegetarian chili when I'm cooking. What I like to do, and you guys, some of you have heard me share this before, oregano is a powerful, powerful oil. If you get 2 or 3 drops in by accident, you no longer have vegetarian chili, you just have oregano, like hot oregano water with some beans in it, right? And that's also kind of gross. So what I want you to do if you're cooking with oregano, first of all, add it in at the very last moment. So if your recipe calls for dried oregano partway through the recipe, wait until you get that chili off the stove, then add your drop of oregano oil at the end. But also use a little spoon so that if you are getting 1 drop of oregano onto the spoon and you accidentally get 4, you haven't just ruined your recipe by overpowering it with the oil. Okay, cool. Yeah, so another great idea for cooking, if you have lemon and lime, those go really well in guacamole. If you have lavender, which I was holding up before, lavender is like my go-to right now. It's calming and soothing to the emotions, and my emotions need a lot of calming and soothing these days. So lavender, you can add a drop of it to lemonade. That's a great thing for a summer picnic or outdoor summer adventure. You can add peppermint to any type of chocolate. I have a great, awesome recipe for chocolate peppermint bark. If anybody wants it, just let me know. I'll share it with you. And there's so many great oils. I don't want to get too far off topic, but for cooking, we have rosemary, thyme, oregano, marjoram, fennel. There's so many. And oftentimes, if I'm cooking something and I don't have a spice or I don't have a certain citrus fruit, I can turn to my oils right in my kitchen and I have what I need. And I'm a big fan of that because I get a lot of joy from following a recipe specifically. So if it calls for oregano and I don't have any, I'm the person that would drive to the Seatown Market down the road and go buy oregano. And now I don't have to. So it's all about that convenience for us too. So those are just a few ways that we can touch the oils, taste the oils, and smell the oils, okay? So now we're gonna dive into the specific oils for recovery. And when I'm speaking recovery, I'm talking very broad terms. So you may be in recovery for a certain drug. You may be in recovery for alcohol. You may be in recovery for overeating, undereating, eating, foods that don't agree with you, whatever it is, Netflix, sex, shopping, cleaning, exercising, right? Like, if you're like me, I have an addictive personality. So I've found in my life, it's much easier for me to get addicted to stuff that's bad for me than it is for me to get addicted to stuff that's good for me. And that's what essential oils have started to help me with. These, yes, they're an addiction. I have many, right? But oh my God, if I'm going to be addicted to something and be interested in having it and learning about it and using it and sharing it, I would really love if it could be something healthy for me. These oils, they are plant medicine, right? They are Mother Nature's cure. They are what our ancestors were using before pharmaceutical drugs were introduced. And I'm not dissing pharmaceutical drugs. I think that modern medicine is great, and I'm really grateful we have it when I or someone I love needs it. So I want to use the oils, and I want to encourage you to use the oils as one tool in your tool belt for a healthy lifestyle, for an overall sense of well-being. I'm not the type of person, like if you broke your arm, I'd be like, yo, Kim, let's slather a little peppermint on it. You're gonna be fine. I'd be like, yo, Kim, let's get in the car. We gotta go to the hospital, right? God forbid. So anyway, I want to put that out there because there are some people that are really, really extreme. And I love everyone. Like wherever you are on your journey is where you are. But I want these oils to become a tool in your tool belt. So that's what we're going for here. So if you had a chance to get the PDF and you want to follow along, you can grab it. But I'm going to attempt to share my screen. So let's all cross our fingers and toes. No, I'm just kidding. I think I have Zoom figured out. I love you guys. I see you crossing your fingers. All right. So I'm going to skip through the beginning part, which you guys can go back and read through later. And if anyone didn't get a chance to get the PDF, I'm happy to email it out to you. Just let me know in the chat if you need it, and I will email it out to you. I'm just gonna dive right into the oils because I want to value and honor our time, okay? So the first oil that we're going to talk about as far as essential oils for recovery is our lavender oil. So lavender is the oil of communication. Before this call, on my diffuser bracelet, I put a drop of lavender and a drop of spearmint. And I do this anytime I'm doing any public speaking or any time that I'm going to be, you know, just in a large group of people and I know I'll be talking a lot, even if I'm not like the main speaker, the main event, right? So lavender is the oil of communication. It helps us relax in order to release the tension that keeps us from expressing how we really feel. When we feel unlovable, unimportant, and unheard, lavender creates a safe space within which we can communicate honestly and openly. Dilute and massage. Apply neat to the soles of the feet. Diffuse. You can spray it on sheets and laundry. Applying neat means undiluted without adding coconut oil or lotion or any other carrier oil. So my favorite use for lavender is around bedtime. I love to add 3 drops of lavender and 3 drops of cedarwood to my diffuser. Another great thing, and I know I need to teach a class on this in the future, is essential oils for pets. I love to put a drop of lavender onto my hand, rub my hands together, cup and breathe, and then rub it up my dog's spine if he's really stressed out. So Sage really does not like fireworks, and I'm sure someone on this call can relate to that with their pet. So I'll rub that drop up his spine so it's going underneath his fur and into his skin, and it calms him down pretty much instantly. It usually takes about a minute before I see him kind of start to mellow out. Yeah, and I see someone was saying they love to, Christine, yeah, adding the oils to the face cream. Me too. Yeah, cool. All right, so other ways to use lavender in an Epsom salt bath. Add 5 to 6 drops of lavender to your Epsom salt first, and then add the Epsom salt to the bath from there. It's just gonna go into the water versus if we just add our oil right to the water in our bath, that oil would just kind of sit on top of the water. It's still gonna smell great, but you're actually gonna get the lavender into your bloodstream as the Epsom salt and the water soaks into your pores. So, and like it says here on this guide, when we feel unlovable, unimportant, and unheard, lavender creates a safe space within which we can communicate honestly and openly. So that's the part where I feel like being in recovery, it really speaks to me. I've had a lot of moments of feeling unlovable, unimportant, and unheard. And, you know, kind of thinking like, why does my voice matter? What do I have to say that's different from anyone else? And then I realized like not everyone needs my message, but I believe I've been put on this earth for a reason and someone needs my message. And I just want to encourage you, you know, if you've ever had that feeling or if you're working through those feelings now, like our voices are really important. They're meant to be heard. And especially as women, I feel like we are coming into the age of the men stepping aside and being like, okay, we clearly can't do this well, your turn. And I think we're all really going to rise to that occasion, this group specifically. So number 2 is Melaleuca, more commonly known as tea tree. So this is the oil of energetic boundaries. This clears energetic heaviness. It's literally a disinfectant. So our tea tree oil is antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal. It helps us release codependent and parasitic relationships with people, literal physical organisms, or dark energy. It moves us to create boundaries in order to break those negative bonds and forge healthier connections that are honoring of all involved. You can steam with a few drops in the shower, add a few drops on a warm washcloth and apply it to your face. My personal favorite use for tea tree is to spot treat acne. So I'll take the bottle, I'll put it onto my finger, and I'll just rub it wherever I have a blemish, and it works wonders. This is also really great for a foot fungus. So no one wants to talk about that, but you know, chances are if you've had a million pedicures, you may have experienced one, and they can be super hard to get rid of. So you can add a drop when you get out of the shower of Melaleuca to every fingernail and every toenail. It's going to get rid of any fungus that you have over consistent use. And also it's strengthening to the fingernails and the toenails. So I know a lot of people right now, like the struggle is real of not having the, what are they called? The gel, right? The gel nails and the gel fingernails and toenails. So this is a great time to be strengthening our nails while those salons are closed. So that is Melaleuca, the oil of energetic boundaries. And I should mention, there's a great book called Oils and Emotions, Essential Oils and Emotions. You can get it from oillife.com. And again, just hit me up if you need this information. I'm happy to send out a follow-up email to everybody with this stuff in it. The words from these slides are from that book, and every year when doTERRA comes out with new oils, they upgrade or update that book so that everything is in there for every oil. So next up we have ylang ylang. That's a fun one to say. It's the oil of the inner child. This one has a really beautiful scent. If anybody has their oils and you want to just pop that baby open, give it a little whiff. The oil of the inner child. It reconnects us with our inner child, our innocence, and our sense of play. Most of today's autoimmune disorders, nearly half of us suffer from one, are a result of a traumatic incident from childhood, which created a state of constant high alert in the system due to the unending release of stress hormones. This oil rewires us toward a joyful, harmonious inner knowing. Aromatically inhale from the hands. It's beautiful in the diffuser. This one can be taken internally. I've never actually gotten that far with this one, but I love it in the diffuser and just a drop in my hands. So when I think about being a woman in recovery, and when I took drugs and alcohol out of my system, I felt like a teenager again, because when I was a teen, I had my first drink, you know? So when I took all of that stuff out of my system, it took me back to how I felt when I was a teen, which was incredibly insecure, scared, wanting to be loved and accepted, and also just, you know, a young girl who didn't know who she was and was just like on the cusp of beginning to figure it out. So I feel like now through oils and definitely through yoga and meditation and recovery, in my 30s, I'm 35 now, I'm starting to figure out who I am as a woman. And a lot of it is who I was when I was a little girl. Like I had a rock collection, and you all know I have a rock collection now, right? I have all my crystals. I loved to ride my bike. I used to put red, white, and blue streamers in my bike spokes for the Memorial Day parade. And what was I doing today because I was having a tough day? I was riding my bike. You know, I went out to the trail in Hellertown and I went for a really long bike ride. So A lot of the things that I've noticed coming back into my life now are the things I loved when I was a little girl. And I have no doubt that the oils have been one tool in my tool belt to kind of unlock some of those pieces of me that for almost all of my 20s, I had kind of locked up. All right, next up we have bergamot, also known as bergamot, depending on who you talk to. So I'm not going to pretend to know what's right. Natasha, is this one safe with pets? Yeah, so with animals, again, I'm gonna have to do a whole class because I know it is so needed. You want to be really careful about applying them. Like I would not suggest putting tea tree on your animal. And also if you're diffusing a new oil, start with a small amount of drops and keep the door open and pay attention. Like every time you diffuse ylang ylang, does your pet who's been comfortably in the room with you for hours get up and leave? That would be a great indicator that your pet doesn't want ylang ylang diffusing. And that would be a better one for you to just inhale from your hands and then go about your day. Our animals are always communicating with us non-verbally through their actions. So always check in with me, right? Like I'm an essential oil mentor. I know a lot of you are on my team. Check in with me if you're like, hey, I want to put this on my pet, but I'm not sure if I should. And then also check in with your pet. Like if they leave the room every time that ylang ylang is diffusing, I would have like a little notebook that says, okay, you know, Sage hates ylang ylang. I don't get to diffuse that one anymore unless Sage is at his Grammy's house. So I hope that answers your question. Bergamot is the oil of self-acceptance. Hallelujah. Let's slather ourselves in the bergamot, right? This oil relieves feelings of despair, self-judgment, and low self-esteem to move us toward self-love and self-acceptance. It cleanses the energetic system of negativity to restore optimism and unconditional confidence. Man, that sounds good. It helps with appetite, depression, and breaks the cycle of relapse. You can diffuse it, you can blend it in your Epsom salt bath, or add it to a body oil. So this is a really beautiful citrus oil, and I would encourage you just to start playing with it. Sometimes you have something in your collection, but it's not until after a little chat like this that you feel inspired to pull it out. I love bergamot in the diffuser, again, especially in the morning, because it's a citrus and those are known as our happy oils. They are uplifting towards our mood and our emotions. And who doesn't want more self-love and self-acceptance? You know, I haven't met anyone, myself included, that isn't working on those things currently. So yeah, I can add that in. Yeah, and by appetite, so meaning, you know, overeating, overindulging, eating too much of things that aren't really good for us. Like we can't have one square of chocolate, we have to have the whole bar. Anyone else? So this can help with appetite, just as far as like if you struggle with overeating. All right, I hope that answers your question. If not, just shoot me another message, let me know. Okay, grapefruit, the oil of honoring the body. I wanna talk about this one real quick and share a good recipe with you guys that was a game changer for me. So grapefruit, frankincense, and pink pepper, along with fractionated coconut oil. I believe it's 4 drops of each, but again, in the follow-up email I'm gonna send, I'll make sure I get the specific number of drops. So I did a 30-day breast detox, and it was no deodorant, so you gotta be ready to commit for 30 days, no deodorant. And every day, twice a day, 4 drops of each, grapefruit, frankincense, and pink pepper, along with a teaspoon of fractionated coconut oil. You do a little 2-minute breast massage in the morning, a little 2-minute breast massage at night. And I had never paid such attention to my breasts. So it was really a lot of self-love came from that. A lot of just feelings of really, really nurturing came from that. So I want to encourage you, if you have those oils and you're willing to give that a shot for 30 days, it's a really, really beautiful practice. And it's recommended to do it about 2 times a year. So you don't want to be going, from 1 month right to the next. If you do it more than once, space it out, maybe once every summer and once every fall, or whatever works for your schedule. So grapefruit, the oil of honoring the body. It teaches true respect and appreciation for our physical body by encouraging a positive relationship with ourselves based on love, tolerance, and deepening acceptance. Helps us listen to our truest needs and impulses by taking ownership of our habits around food and eating in order to redesign our relationship to nourishment. It helps with nicotine cravings, increases cellular oxygenation and serotonin levels. You can put a drop in your water bottle. You can diffuse. I will put this on my diffuser jewelry if I'm going to be inside for the day. I absolutely love grapefruit. So let's see what's going on up here in the chat. Do you use the same diffuser for different oil combos, or the same one and just rinse it out between uses with different oil? Great question, Rebecca. So I use the same diffuser. I give it a quick rinse out in between. I can also send you guys a link with a quick recipe for how to clean your diffuser once every few months with some vinegar. And what works best, especially with the doTERRA diffusers, they all have timers. So I like to set them to run all the way through. Like I put them on the 12-hour setting, because the diffuser is going to get the most residue or the most dirty if you're putting an oil in with the water, not diffusing it all, and then letting it sit there for a few days. That doesn't happen in my household because I'm diffusing every day, but certainly if I was going like on vacation, which God, I would love to go on vacation. I don't think I'm getting a vacation this summer, so anyway, I'm sure I'll live. But yeah, you want to definitely like run the diffuser all the way through, get all the oil and all the water out into your air, and that's what's going to work the best. Okay, so number 6, peppermint, and the oil of a buoyant heart. Okay, so this is the one I told Kim I was going to chat about. I didn't even remember it was in here. Peppermint, the oil of a buoyant heart. So there's a really fun thing you can do if anybody wants to do it with me. It's called a peppermint balm, and it's a drop of peppermint in the palm of your hand. You rub your palms together. One hand comes into a fist, the other hand is flat, and you're just putting the fist against your flat hand. You open up your your fist a little bit, and you breathe in. Now, I don't know if anyone was like me in high school and smoked Newports, but it's like a little flashback for me of like a menthol cigarette, because peppermint is literally menthol, right? So peppermint opens our airways. I have my dad do this with me. It's one way that we're bonding, which my dad and I, oh my goodness, I could teach a whole class on like how to not bond with your dad, but we're working on it in our 30s. This is one of the ways we bond. And when he does it, he goes, and I'm like, Dad, no smoke came out. But he has really bad allergies, and I'm his child, so do I. And it opens the airways. I don't know if anybody can feel it, but if you did it with me, I can feel the coolness all the way down into my throat and into my lungs. So it opens our airways. It's also cooling. So yes, rubbing it onto your neck. I even love to take the peppermint and I'll do it on my temples. Some people, their eyes get a little watery, so be careful if you do put it on your temples, because your eyes could possibly get a little watery. I'm willing to take the risk because it's so great. And Kim, what I wanted to mention, what we were talking about earlier, was just taking it from temple across forehead to other temple, and then the swipe across the back and the sides of the neck. It's a beautiful tool for all of us ladies because it's summer, we're all getting really hot. And peppermint, another fun thing to do is fill a spray bottle, a glass or metal spray bottle, with some distilled water and several drops of your peppermint. It could be like anywhere from 10 to 15 drops, depending on the size of the bottle you fill. Put that in your refrigerator and then take it out, shake it up, spray yourself down. Not only are you going to smell amazing and it's an insect repellent, but you're going to be cool. It's going to cool you down on these hot summer days. Today, my thermometer in the car said 95. Like summer is coming, right? Okay, so peppermint, the oil of a buoyant heart. It brings joy and buoyancy to the heart and soul. It invigorates our sense of resiliency and mental clarity. It gives us strength to move forward. Great for sugar addiction, to reset and refresh the palate and sense of smell. Good for nausea during acute withdrawal and can help headaches. Diluted on temples, undiluted drop in the water bottle, or diffuse. So I just put it undiluted on my temples. Certainly if you have very sensitive skin, you could add a little bit of carrier oil or lotion if it's too intense for you. Sorry, I should have mentioned that ahead of time, but hey, I'm not perfect. I'm trying, right? Always going for that, but never getting there. I know perfection is not real now. Just gonna check the time real quick. Okay, cool. So lemon, the oil of focus. I could not live without my lemon oil. It nourishes the mind and aids concentration, dispels confusion, bestows clarity, and counterbalances mental fatigue. Restores energy, mental flexibility, and the drive to complete a project. Helpful for learning issues and insecurities. Inspires playfulness emotionally, brings joy and happiness. Infuses us with confidence, alertness, and energy. Gently detoxifies the liver and alkalines the body. You can add a drop in your water bottle, use it in your DIY cleaning products, and definitely diffuse. So my favorite way to diffuse lemon is 2 drops each, lemon, lavender, and peppermint. That's known as the allergy trio. It's really going to help with any seasonal threats, any allergies that you have going on. If you don't have allergies, it's still gonna smell amazing. Really, really good. Another great combo, I've been sending this to my cousin. She's studying for the bar right now. She's gonna be a lawyer. I'm so proud of her. Another great combo for focus in the diffuser is lemon oil, rosemary oil, and cinnamon. I'll usually do 2 drops of the lemon, 2 drops of the rosemary, and just 1 drop of cinnamon. The cinnamon really overpowers almost any blend you add it to, so just 1 drop of that cinnamon. And lemon is one of my go-tos in my water, just like grapefruit. I also had mentioned, like, if you're making guac or anything that calls for like a freshly squeezed lemon juice, you can add the lemon oil in for that. And if you're baking, I know sometimes in the summer we're baking and going to like picnics and parties. I'm not sure how all that is going to unfold in our current situation, but you could add a drop of lemon to vanilla icing and make like a bangin' cake where everyone's like, okay, Betty Crocker, I see what happened to you in quarantine. You became a baker, right? Next up, we have black pepper, the oil of unmasking. Reveals the masks and facades we use to hide certain facets of the self. Invites us to get real and to acknowledge our soul's longings. Gives us strength to recognize what aspects of ourselves need healing and where we need motivation, courage, and authenticity. Helps with nicotine cravings and increases cellular oxygenation. Dilute and blend in a roller, diffuse blended. So black pepper does not smell like the black pepper that you have on your dining table or in your cabinet. This oil is one that I've played with in the diffuser. I don't think I've made any blends with black pepper, but I'm excited to try it. And I think Annie got some black pepper. Is that right, Annie? Did you get black pepper? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I have that one.
Awesome. So we'll have to talk about how you've been using it. Cool. All right. So next up, we have geranium, the oil of love and trust. So I just want to share something really funny. There's a great girl on Instagram and Facebook. Her username is Citrine and Sage. So citrine is like an orange stone, citrine, Citrine, and sage. Her name's, I think, Kim Camuso. That's her actual name. And she is really funny. So she made this joke about geranium. And she said, geranium is like the inside of a flower's butthole. So I hope I didn't just offend anyone, but I had to share it because it's so florally. I actually didn't like geranium at first. And what really turned me on to geranium was when I started blending it with lavender. So I have a face spray that I love to make that is, I think it's a little bottle. It's like 4 drops of lavender and like 3 or 2 drops of geranium. So again, I can get these recipes to you ladies because I don't have everything in front of me for those. But it's the geranium oil, the lavender oil, distilled water, and witch hazel. And you shake it all up and you spray it. And it's this beautiful face mist. And that's what made me love geranium. So I still don't use it all by itself. I definitely blend it with lavender, and that's what works for me. But this is really important. This is the oil of love and trust. So it facilitates trust, confidence, and honesty. It helps us reestablish broken bonds in a healthy way, particularly where there's been a loss of trust. It encourages forgiveness, softens anger, and assists in healing emotional wounds. It aids in healing the broken heart by facilitating the release of pain and grief to make room for understanding. It deepens our connection to the divine. We can dilute it in our face oil. We can add it as a scent, meaning like you could wear it like you would perfume with a roller bottle of geranium oil and fractionated coconut oil. You can add it to your homemade deodorant. Tea tree would be another great thing to put in a homemade deodorant. And of course, you can diffuse it with lavender, or you can play with it with other oils. If you're going to play with blending, like don't be afraid, right? The worst thing that can happen is you don't like the smell and you have to start over. But if you're gonna play with blending 2 oils together in your diffuser, like I just grabbed the geranium because we're talking about it, and the lemon, put them side by side. Those 2 actually work pretty well together. If you put them side by side in your bottles and you smell them, you'll get a pretty good idea of whether or not you're gonna like that combination in your diffuser. So geranium, the oil of love and trust, sounds good to me. Next up, we have Roman chamomile, the oil of spiritual purpose. Supports us in discovering our life's purpose, helps us find meaning, softens the overactive ego mind, and restores our confidence in our mission on earth. This oil is considered a guardian angel leading our soul home. Reminds us to focus on what's truly fulfilling and in keeping with our real purpose. It helps the liver discharge toxins, calms anxiety, enriches emotional stability. You can blend this, diffuse it blended, and add a drop in warm water. So I'm sure you've heard about chamomile tea. Like if you have a stressful day, maybe someone offered you a cup of chamomile tea at the end of it. This is another great one for in the Epsom salt bath at the end of the day, and really beautiful in the diffuser. It goes well with vetiver, which is another really calming, grounding oil. It goes really well with lavender, which is calming and soothing to the emotions. It's beautiful just even in the diffuser by itself. This is a really beautiful one. It goes well with cedarwood, another calming, grounding oil. All right, rolling right along here. Number 11, clove, the oil of boundaries. My whole 30s so far has been about boundaries. This supports individuals in releasing feelings of powerlessness and victimhood, helps us feel courageous, empowered, and independent. And I feel like we're about to step out into a world where we need to be courageous and we need to be empowered. I don't know about independent. I'm still like, I need the support of everyone around me, right? I'm in my 20s, I wanted to be super independent. Now I'm like, can women just gather with me around in circle like 24/7, and can we all just be together? So it reconnects us with our personal integrity. aids in building healthy boundaries, restores our sense of self. Highly beneficial in oral care and hygiene, curbs cravings for nicotine. So that's the third oil we've heard so far about helping with nicotine. Great on toothpicks and in coconut oil, along with cinnamon for oil pulling. So clove is a really strong oil. I'll be honest that I don't really diffuse this by itself. I diffuse it in our protective blend called On Guard that has clove, wild orange, cinnamon. I know there's some people on here who, yeah, can't live without it, right? Yes. And yeah, clove is another one that can be taken internally. So you could add this into some recipes, and it's just another beautiful oil in that collection. So I just wanted to read this quote real quick because I really thought it was beautiful. It says, "Remind me that insecurity is simply a belief that I am unprotected. Let my love of what we do together lift me up." So again, I can send you all the PDF. I can send you all the recipes, you know, the direct things that I've been sharing. I'm happy to get those all to you. And those 11 oils are really just a beginning, right? There are hundreds of different oils. There are a lot of different blends, but I wanted to share about those because I just felt called to get back to sharing about oils because it makes me really happy. And, you know, I'm passionate about like figuring out what lifts me up so that I can lift others up, right? And then this beautiful thing keeps happening in my life. I hope it's happening for you too, but if it's not, like I can be a person in your life to help make this happen. When I need support, it's there for me. Like when I'm down, I've got sisters that are up. And when I'm up, there's a sister that's down, right? So it's like that full circle of what goes around comes around as far as helping each other and supporting each other. And, you know, creating these like brief mini pauses throughout our day for ritual and for self-care. So it doesn't have to be this, you know, hour-long ritual, right? Like I saw Derry, you posted today about, you know, you didn't have a lot of time, but you still wanted to get your workout in and you were grateful for a shorter workout. That's how these oils can be. It doesn't have to be like, I'm going to make 700 bottles of this DIY recipe, you know, and it's going to take me 3 weeks. It can be you grab your oil, you put a drop in your hand, you cup and breathe for 30 seconds, and then you move on with your day. But you took that little mini pause for you, you built those little breaks into your day. Because let's face it, like if I say to myself, okay, Alicia, I'm gonna go all day. I'm not gonna drink a lot of water, I'm not gonna eat food, I don't have time for that. Right? Like that's ridiculous, but I do that. I'm not gonna diffuse oils. I'm gonna do it all tonight. Like when I'm done helping everyone else in their lives, I'm gonna do all that shit for myself tonight. And then tonight comes and I'm exhausted. I can barely get the frozen pizza in the oven. Like I'm just being super candid with you guys because this is where I'm at and what I'm working on. And I haven't perfected it, but I'm working on it. Like I am a work in progress, right? And what I'm trying to do and what works for me better, like what makes me feel like my cup is more full, is these little mini pauses throughout the day. You know, couple deep breaths with my oils, glass of water, like have a bowl of cherries on the counter so that when I'm starving, I don't grab 19 cookies. I was going to say 9, but that would be like a lie. I grabbed like 19, right? So, you know, I grabbed a bowl of cherries, but only because I put them out for myself. And then the cookies don't seem as appealing until like, you know, I've eaten cherries and my body's like, oh, real food. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm using these oils as tools. I want you to use them as tools as you feel called to. And yeah, as far as recovery goes, I'm just incredibly grateful to be in recovery. Like I am so, so proud of myself for finding a better way to live. If you're in recovery for whatever it is that you're in recovery for, like, hey, too much Netflix and now I don't watch Netflix 7 days a week, I watch it 1 day a week. Like I'm proud of you because this stuff is not easy. And what I'm finding is a lot of it was passed down from generations before me. So it's not like, you know, oh, I'm trying to break a simple habit and I don't know why I can't get it. It's like I'm trying to shift my thought patterns, my brain, and my DNA. Like this is in my DNA, and I would like to upgrade it so that if I have children and my children have children someday, we have upgraded DNA because I put in the work to try to change some of the things that don't serve me anymore. So thank you so much for listening. I'm going to turn off the recording button so that you guys can share anything you feel called to share with. But just thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening to me ramble on for a whole entire hour. That's so cool.